de Uncharted sur grand écran ou pas. Mais en attendant, déjà faire ce...
You're in a press conference. I'll call you back. I love you.
Ça fait maintenant une grosse semaine que le film Uncharted est sorti au cinéma un petit peu partout dans le monde. Et en France, eh bien, on a été parmi les premiers à pouvoir le découvrir. Et au moment où je vous parle, au moment où j'enregistre cette vidéo, eh bien, c'est déjà quasiment 1 million de spectateurs en France, chez nous, dans l'Hexagone. Environ 955 000 et des brouettes, hein, pour être tout à fait exact. Donc, ce qui prouve que le bouche à oreille fonctionne plutôt pas mal. Et ce, malgré les critiques mitigées, voire négatives du côté de la presse. Hein, pour ma part, j'ai trouvé le film, comment dire, j'ai été vraiment partagé. Je trouve qu'il est réussi sur certains aspects et complètement raté sur d'autres. D'ailleurs, si jamais vous n'avez toujours pas vu, eh bien, ma vidéo, ma critique à chaud, n'hésitez pas à la consulter. Elle est disponible sur notre chaîne YouTube de JeuxActu. Et au box-office mondial, eh bien, Uncharted a déjà généré 140 millions de dollars en seulement 3 jours d'exploitation, le premier week-end d'ouverture, sachant que le budget du film est de environ 120 millions de dollars, donc le démarrage est vraiment tonitruant. D'ailleurs, rien qu'aux États-Unis, le film a généré 60 millions de dollars en un peu moins d'une semaine, donc c'est vraiment plutôt pas mal. Et d'ailleurs, le seul film qui va freiner l'ascension de Uncharted, c'est The Batman, qui sort la semaine prochaine, hein, au moment où je tourne cette vidéo. C'est la semaine prochaine, un film que j'ai d'ailleurs déjà pu voir il y a plusieurs jours maintenant, et je vais pouvoir vous donner mon avis définitif sur ce film une fois que l'embargo sera levé. Ce sera le lundi 28 février à 18h pétante. Bref, vous l'avez compris, Uncharted a encore quelques beaux jours devant lui pour continuer à s'imposer au box-office mondial. Et si je vous donne rendez-vous aujourd'hui, eh bien c'est pour vous parler de ma rencontre avec Tom Holland, avec Mark Wahlberg, avec Ruben Fleischer, le réalisateur, mais également les deux producteurs du film que sont Chuck Roven et Alex Garner. Parce que oui, ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que juste avant la sortie, et quelques jours avant la sortie, eh bien toute l'équipe est venue à Paris pour faire la promotion du film et j'ai eu l'occasion et la chance de pouvoir les rencontrer et de leur poser tout plein de questions. Et ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que ces interviews ont été faites en plusieurs temps. La première, c'est que j'ai pu m'entretenir d'abord avec Mark Wahlberg. C'était 15 jours avant la sortie du film, c'était en visioconférence. Il était chez lui à Los Angeles, j'étais chez moi à Paris, il était à peu près 22h heure française et j'ai pu lui parler pendant 5 bonnes minutes. Ensuite, eh bien, le reste de l'équipe, je l'ai rencontré dans un hôtel de luxe à Paris, tout près de l'Arc de Triomphe. D'abord le matin pour des interviews personnalisées et ensuite, en fin d'après-midi, pour la conférence de presse. Alors moi, ce que je vous propose, c'est de démarrer directement ces sessions d'interview par Ruben Fleischer, le réalisateur. Il fête ses 47 printemps cette année et on le connaît pour des films tels que Bienvenue à Zombieland, la suite également, mais aussi Gangster Squad et aussi Venom, qui est un petit peu sa seule vraie casserole dans sa filmographie, on va dire. Alors, mes questions étaient centrées uniquement sur le film Uncharted et j'ai voulu savoir comment on fait pour adapter des jeux vidéo en film. On sait, c'est un exercice qui est vraiment extrêmement casse-gueule et j'ai voulu savoir s'il y avait des choses à faire, à ne pas faire, comment et jusqu'à quel point ils se sont inspirés de jeux vidéo parce qu'on sait que l'histoire de cet Uncharted est totalement inédite et donc voilà. Qu'est-ce que il m'a répondu? Je vous propose d'écouter ses réponses. Hello Ruben,
Good
very
morning.
nice to meet you.
Likewise, thanks for being here.
Yeah, first question. It's always complicated to make a 2-hour movie adapted from a video game that lasts between 10 or 15 hours of playing. What is the right formula to try to stay as faithful as possible to the source material?
We were lucky with Uncharted because the video game upon which the movie is based is just one of my favorite all-time games. It's so entertaining. It has incredible treasure hunting stories, and it has a very cinematic quality. When you play it, you almost feel like you're starring in a movie. So in taking it to the big screen, it was actually a combination of wanting to be faithful to what people love about the original game, but also making sure that it stands on its own 2 feet as a feature film. And so we took the tone, the relationship at the center, a lot of the humor, and then of course the incredible action that Uncharted is known for, and combined all those elements to make a really entertaining feature film.
Okay, and we know that the film does not follow the story of a particular episode, but draws inspiration from several Uncharted games. Was it important for you to find elements from the 4 episodes in the movie?
Yeah, the most important element that we took inspiration from the games was the relationship between Nate and Sully that's at the center of all the games, and the really fun banter that they have, the talking that they have with one another. But yeah, as you notice, the plane sequence that we open the movie with, fans of the games will recognize from Uncharted 3 as one of the most, exciting action set pieces in the video game. But we didn't want to just do a carbon copy of the game. We wanted to make sure that it worked independent of the games. And so we just didn't want to just copy every single thing that they had already done, because then for fans that have played it, that would be pretty boring.
Yeah, sure, you're right. And in the game, Sully has the role of mentor with Nate, and in the movie, is more like a partner, like a kind of friend. This is my feeling. Is it right, or did you make a little change of this?
Well, this is the evolution of their relationship in the movie. We're telling a chapter of the story that doesn't exist in the games. This is the very beginning of their relationship. So to me, it makes sense that their relationship can change and evolve over the course of the time, so that ultimately it can arrive at what fans are familiar with from the video game, more of a mentor paternal relationship, whereas right now it's more just friends.
Et justement, en parlant de changements par rapport aux jeux vidéo, j'ai voulu savoir auprès de Tom Holland ce qui l'avait convaincu de jouer Nathan Drake, quels sont les éléments concrets du jeu vidéo qui l'ont attiré, la différence entre le Nathan Drake des jeux vidéo de Naughty Dog et de sa version à lui, de son personnage. Je vous laisse écouter ses réponses.
I think the thing I loved most about the game was the adventure and the heart of the characters. This film is really about an orphan searching for his family and in turn finding a family in a very unorthodox way. And I think sometimes with these big action movies, you can lose the heart, which was something that Ruben, our director, was very adamant to keep present. So the relationship between Mark and I is integral to the heart and soul of the film. But then the adventure for me, when I was a kid, Indiana Jones, National Treasure, Jurassic Park, all of these films that were about adventure really excited me. So to have the opportunity to bring a character like this to life, to explore the action sequences and figure out what we could do and what we couldn't do was really, really fun. Because it has to be more grounded in reality. When you're making a Spider-Man movie, the sky is the limit. Spider-Man can essentially do anything. But Nathan Drake, at the end of the day, is a human. So designing these action sequences around that was really exciting and interesting. And I think when people see this movie, they will be blown away by what we've achieved.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was difficult, but, we did our due diligence and our research, and we went back and we replayed the games, and we had conversations with the executives at Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann and Nolan North himself, and, there was a process that we went through to develop this character, but something that we all decided to do, which is something I'm very delighted was that we decided to make this character somewhat of a departure of the guy from the games. We wanted to make sure that fans of the games were getting the essence and the scope of what this series stands for, while also getting something really refreshing and new. Because I could have sat there and mimicked Nolan North and figured out a way to kind of do his voice, but I think we would have been doing a disservice to the fans, because his performance is so fantastic and so unique. It would have felt like a gimmick or, a copycat as such. So we wanted to create something new. So yes, it did come with its own set of challenges. Nolan did a wonderful job bringing Nathan Drake to life. But, I had a great team of creatives to support me and to direct me. So I was very lucky.
Bon, on va rentrer maintenant un petit peu plus dans le dur avec Mark Wahlberg, lui qui est impliqué dans le projet Uncharted depuis maintenant plus de 10 ans. C'est lui qui devait jouer Nathan Drake au tout départ, je vous rappelle. Justement, comment ça a été de travailler avec Tom Holland? Que pense-t-il de lui, du jeune acteur dans le rôle de Nathan Drake? Et puis, comment il voit l'évolution de son personnage Sully, si jamais il y a une suite, parce que c'est bien parti pour qu'il y ait une suite, bien entendu. Vous allez voir, que Mark Wahlberg n'est pas si corpo que ça, et que même, il essaye de défendre son bout de gras. Écoutez-le.
I'm very happy to be able to chat with you a little bit about Uncharted, and I see that you have kept the mustache. It's Sully ones, no?
Yes, of course.
Did you fall in love with the character to keep the mustache?
I did. I fell in love with the character, and also when I was making the movie, everybody in my family, all my siblings thought I looked so much like my dad. So I'm wearing it also to honor him. And then I wore it in another film that I just finished. So yeah, I love the mustache and I love your video game.
Oh, thanks very much. I know that you are very, very connected with the Uncharted project, as your name has been associated with the film for over 10 years. I remember in 2010 that you were approached to play as Nathan Drake with David O. Russell as a director, but things has evolved quite a bit. And here you are in the role of Sully. How did you approach the character change?
I embraced it. I thought, at first when they approached me, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make Uncharted." So I just assumed, that they wanted me to play Nate, and then I said, "Who's the other guy?" Thinking it was gonna be one of the many older actors that I've been dying to work with. And then when they mentioned Tom Holland, I quickly figured that yes, obviously I've aged out of the role of Nate, but I've transitioned quite nicely into the role of Sully. And I was excited about it. I thought Sully was such a fun character. This is a guy who can't be trusted. You don't know which way he's going to go. He's a master manipulator. And, to have that relationship with the younger guy and Tom being like a little brother to me, I thought it was a lot of fun. And then I also thought, well, wow, it'd be a lot easier for me now where he's got to do most of the action and the heavy lifting. And I could just kind of be the guy kind of barking orders and making the plan. So it was very appealing to me all the way around.
And and how do you think about Tom as Nathan Drake? We know that he's a very cool, very physical guy, very gymnastic guy, and he does a lot of his stunts. What is it like to work with him?
Yeah, he's obviously really capable with the physical stuff, but that was not the most important thing in this film. I mean, you could make things look, good. You can kind of choreograph fights, shoot at different angles. The most important thing was the performance, and certainly the chemistry between the two of us. In order to make this as good as we possibly can, it really relied on the chemistry between the two characters. You want to be, considered one of the great two-handers like a Robert Redford and a Paul Newman and Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, not something else that's just kind of very not memorable. So to really improvise and try things and make sure that banter was something that really stood out and was the kind of like the central point of the entertainment and the lure for people to enjoy these characters and go on this ride.
And the ending of the movie let us think that this is the beginning of a big franchise. Have you ever thought about how to evolve your character? Maybe more action scene for Sully, because there's no reason for Tom to do everything, right?
Well, I didn't mind him doing most of the heavy lifting in this one, that's for sure. I'm 50 years old now. I've done every stunt you could imagine. I've fought with the best. I've done it all. They've blown me up so many times. So to sit in a helicopter while he had to hang off the side of it was a fun day for me, and probably not so much for him. But that being said, yes, if we could make it better than the first and audiences really want, I would love to do it again.
That's fair. Thank you very much, Mark. That's finished for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Merci beaucoup.
Bon, les gens qui ont vu le film le savent, il y a énormément de références, de easter eggs et un gros caméo dans le film par rapport aux jeux vidéo. J'ai voulu savoir comment on intègre ces clins d'œil. Qui s'en occupe exactement? J'ai posé la question à Ruben Fleischer, le réalisateur, à qui j'ai demandé aussi comment il a abordé le changement de personnage de Nathan Drake entre Mark Wahlberg et Tom Holland. Écoutez ses réponses.
And we know that Mark Wahlberg has been involved with the Uncharted project for over 10 years, since he was originally set to play Nathan Drake. How did he approach his character change? Was he worried when he begins the shooting?
I think Mark was very happy to play the older, more experienced character, especially opposite Tom Holland. They had a great relationship, and it kind of echoed real life a little bit. The fact that Mark was older and more experienced, and Tom is obviously younger and newer to the game. But yeah, I think Mark was happy, especially when he saw Tom hanging off of a box and putting his body like smashed all around. I think Mark was happy that he decided to be the guy who just stands in the back.
He told me that. He's too old for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are quite a few video game references and Easter eggs in the movie. How are they integrated into the creative process from the start, or is it improvised on the set?
We were very lucky because Naughty Dog and PlayStation were our partners in making the movie. And so they were always keeping an eye out for the fans at all times. And so they were really smart in helping us find cool Easter eggs to layer in throughout the movie, whether that's the Naughty Dog sticker that we have in the trunk or some of Nate's signature lines from the games we hear throughout. And then, of course, there's a big cameo in the middle of the film that fans of the games will certainly recognize.
Yeah, and I want to talk about it because Nolan North does a pretty funny cameo in the movie. Was it important for you to have him in the movie, in the set?
Yeah, I really wanted fans to know that we love what they love, which is the video game that's at the center of it all. And so by having Nathan Drake meet Nathan Drake, that was a really exciting moment, not only just for the movie, but also for all of us as fans of the game.
And I remember when he posted this photo on Instagram, Twitter, and he told everybody he's lying because a lot of people were asking, "Oh, you're doing a cameo in the movie," and he said, "No, I'm not in the movie." So he's lying. I think there's to lie is something very common now in the campaign marketing. what is for to?
Well, it's also an aspect of Nathan Drake, so it's not so surprising. But yeah, I think we don't want to spoil things for the audience and let it be a discovery for people, because I know when I saw the movie with fans for the first time, when he comes on screen, there was a real excitement.
Yeah.
So I think it's better to keep it a surprise.
And for my last question, it's been rumored for a few hours that you've confirmed working on a Jax and Daxter movie. Is that true? And if that's true, what kind of movie is gonna be like? Live action, animated, CGI?
Yeah, it's such a funny thing that Jak and Daxter has come up a lot recently. But as soon as I was, making Uncharted, I thought to myself, what other video games does PlayStation have or Naughty Dog have that I love that might also make other great feature films? And so with Jak and Daxter, that's a game that I've always loved and I was excited to develop with them. So as to what it will ultimately be, I don't know, but we're in the middle of writing the script now. And
so that is true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I heard that Tom Holland was very interested with the...
Yeah, that was pure coincidence that somebody sent me an article saying, if you could make any game a movie, what would it be? And it just so happens that it's the same one that I'm already working on. So that was pure coincidence.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Vous l'avez compris, il aura fallu plus de 10 ans pour que le projet Uncharted soit enfin adapté au cinéma avec le soutien de PlayStation et même de Naughty Dog. Alors s'il y a eu énormément de changements d'acteurs, de scripts, de réalisateurs, ce qu'il faut savoir c'est que les producteurs, eux, sont restés les mêmes depuis le départ, à savoir Chuck Roven et Alex Garner, et ça tombe bien, ils étaient également sur Paris pour la promotion du film, donc j'ai pu les rencontrer, j'ai pu leur poser quelques questions, notamment, j'ai voulu savoir s'il a toujours été question de faire un film d'aventure fun, grand public, ou si à un moment donné, ils ont pensé à faire quelque chose d'un peu plus sombre, d'un peu plus mature, un peu à l'image de Uncharted 4, qui est quand même la grosse inspiration du film. Vraiment, c'est vraiment le jeu qui a inspiré essentiellement le film. Et j'en ai profité pour leur poser une autre question un petit peu plus piège. Est-ce que c'est important vraiment de faire plaisir aux fans? Est-ce que quand on fait un film, on doit forcément plaire aux fans qui, vous le savez bien, sont quand même assez difficiles à contenter. Ils sont jamais contents, les fans. Et à cette question un petit peu piège, vous allez voir qu'ils s'en sortent plutôt pas mal.
Maxime from JeuxActu. That's a question for everyone. Anyone can answer the question. There are 4 Uncharted games. The first 3 are very, very fun, very relaxed atmosphere. But the fourth is more serious. Was it always about making a fun adventure film from the beginning, or did you choose another tone?
We always wanted to make something that was a, action adventure movie that had a lot of humor and and excitement in it. But we definitely changed a significant, different. We took a lot of different tries with a number of different, very talented, creative writers and directors, and for one reason or another, it didn't work, or the timing wasn't right. But ultimately, I have to be honest and say, while we thought that there were some that were close, there was nothing that was ever as good as the draft that this became. Because the aha moment was to say, let's do something that honors the game and all of the wonderful things about it, the action, the Sully and Nate relationship, but also is something unique that we can bring to it, and that was the time period, and that happened when Tom said he wanted to do it.
I think that just to answer a little bit more of your question about the tone, I think our goal was always to make something that was a fun ride, right? That was absolutely the underpinnings of everything that we decided to do. But what's beautiful about the IP and that we took inspiration from in adapting it into film form is great characters and a relationship that you care about. So there is an emotional underpinning that was very important to the characters and the journey, particularly that Nathan Drake goes on, and that informs the tone. But the tone is fun, especially given the world that we're all living in right now. Everybody could use a fun ride, right? And so that drove everything, the wit, the humor between the characters and the great relationship, but the as Chuck said, the aha moment or the reality that this was right, because ultimately you're always waiting for what feels right. That was when we turned the new page and realized that we needed to tell a fresh story. And that fresh story enabled us to bring, freshness and fun and take inspiration from all different parts of it to inform a new story.
Like you say, you try to please the fan. But when we make a film with such a big budget, do we have to listen to them? Because you know that the fans, they are not, they're never pleased, they're never happy. Do we have to listen to them?
Well, okay. So I think...
So the fandom question.
It's an interesting question. So the answer is that the goal, I think the best place to start is what's the goal for the movie? The goal for the movie is to make something literally from 8 years old to 80-year-old. Everyone can enjoy it. And I think it was very intentional that we took inspiration from the game, and we're all huge fans and respect it. And at the same time, we knew for fans and of the game and also just for moviegoers, we needed to bring them something that they were experiencing for the first time. So I think our guidance is in inspirational form and how much we love the IP, and at the same time, we need to deliver something that is literally for everybody. And that's why when we turned that page and we said, the big forehead slap moment is tell a fresh story, and by telling a fresh story, it allows us to take inspiration and use it in a completely new and original way. And I think that is inclusive in tone and character changes. We're telling a story that takes place very specifically in a gap in the narrative, right? So if you're a fan, it's not a part of the narrative that you could have played within the video games themselves. So it left us the flexibility to tell a fresh and wonderful story for everybody. And I think that's the best way to answer that.
Voilà, avec toutes ces questions et toutes ces réponses, je pense que vous y voyez un petit peu plus clair dans le projet Uncharted, qui s'est fait avec beaucoup de difficultés, il est vrai. Et au moment où je vous parle, eh bien, c'est un film qui divise beaucoup l'opinion publique. Soit les gens trouvent qu'il est mauvais, que c'est un blockbuster hollywoodien classique, sans personnalité, qu'on oublie très rapidement, soit eh bien les gens trouvent que c'est une belle adaptation des jeux vidéo. Toujours est-il qu'il y a une vraie fracture entre la presse et le public, les spectateurs. Si on se rend notamment sur le site Rotten Tomatoes, qui est donc un site agrégateur de notes, on voit que la presse lui a donné la note moyenne de 40%, alors que les spectateurs, le public, lui donnent la note de 90%. C'est énorme, il y a vraiment un grand écart assez important. Toujours est-il que le film fonctionne bien au box-office. Il jouit surtout de la popularité de Tom Holland, qui est vraiment bankable et qui est vraiment dans l'élan de Spider-Man No Way Home. Et surtout, je pense qu'en ces temps troubles, en ces temps incertains, en ces temps de guerre inattendue, eh bien, les gens ont envie de s'évader, de voir un film où ils se prennent pas la tête. Donc c'est pour ça que le film fonctionne vraiment très bien, même s'il est plein de défauts, il faut bien l'avouer. En tout cas, merci à vous d'avoir suivi cette vidéo. Je veux avoir vos commentaires. Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez? Qu'est-ce que vous avez pensé du film maintenant qu'il est sorti depuis maintenant plus d'une semaine? N'hésitez pas à laisser vos commentaires. Et puis si vous avez aimé cette vidéo, n'hésitez pas aussi à laisser un petit pouce bleu, à partager, à faire connaître la chaîne autour de vous. Et puis on se retrouve sur JeuxActu pour d'autres vidéos cinéma, d'autres vidéos pop culture et d'autres vidéos jeux vidéo bien entendu. Merci encore et à très vite sur JeuxActu.